It's time for your daily dose of all things Chicago sports. This is the Daily Score. Now, here's your host, Mark Grote.
Wrapping up a Bears-Colts joint practice out here in Indianapolis. Night one was fun. It was cool, man. Hundreds of fans out here. A lot of Bears energy. Obviously, plenty of Colts fans. There was one Green Bay Packers fan who was generally booed throughout the night, at least when I saw him walking to his place. Great night. They even had an MC out there who was kind of like directing us and telling us everything that was going on throughout the night. Over on this field, you've got 11 on 11. Over here, you've got 7 on 7. You want to see the Bears starting defense? Here's special teams over here on this side. So it was a pretty cool experience for sure. Justin Fields, start with him. Strong in 7 on 7 for sure. Big gains to Velus Jones Jr. and DJ Moore during full team drills, 11 on 11, was also picked off a couple of times in 11 on 11. There were some, the big thing that we all look for in these joint practices is our tempers going to flare. And there were certainly a couple of moments, one of them dealing with the Bears rookie cornerback, Tyrique Stevenson, who was playing special teams, flattened the gunner, Tony Brown, on punt coverage. And a lot of jawing was going on back and forth. It got pretty rowdy for a while. Interestingly enough, Chase Claypool, of course, getting in the face, who was not practicing, but Chase Claypool was getting in the face of Tony Brown. So it was nice to see Chase Claypool sticking up for Tyrique Stevenson, with whom he had gotten in that fight in practice about a week ago. So I guess that was kind of cool to see. Eddie Jackson was loving it as well. And yeah, there comes the question of how much is too much. Let's hear, first of all, from Kyler Gordon, the second-year defensive back. And right after Kyler Gordon, you will hear from the Bears defensive coordinator, Alan Williams. Here they are.
I mean, he was just finishing his rep. Like we always talk about finish. And if they didn't like how it finished, that's who the Bears are. So we going out there and finish. I'm proud of him. He did his thing. Hold your own. So that's all.
What I value most is production. What I value most is hustle. What I value most is getting lined up. And then the extra stuff, I want guys to bring their personality, but make sure that personality, that feistiness, is within the bounds of how we play, because part of our HITS principle is being smart, having self-control. So I love the feistiness. I love the grit. I love the physicalness. I just wanted to make sure that it's between the whistle, and if it is, I'm all for it.
Yeah, just got to be smart. You're right. So these things that we've seen, whether it was Chase Claypool or Tyrique Stevenson, are they going to be penalties in the real season? We'll see, but that's where it becomes not okay in any way, shape, or form. But Tyrique Stevenson, he's got a lot of personality on the field. Let's just put it that way. And there is that fine line, man. You don't want to take that out of him. And we love seeing it. And here we are talking about it. So that was definitely one thing. And there was also one point in the practice where Justin Fields, somebody kind of made incidental, maybe accidental contact with him, where he went down. Tevin Jenkins kind of got into it with a couple of the guys on the Colts, which obviously you want to see. So that's good to see. And I always talk about the nasty and all that kind of stuff. And we saw Tevin Jenkins doing some of that last year as well. Everybody came out of it unscathed, though, as well. Another guy I want to talk about, too, because he was talking to the media tonight, is Roschon Johnson. And he had a couple of nice carries out there. The blocking continues to look good. He's still getting a little more run with the first team as well. And let's listen here. Now, back-to-back right here, I've put together Cole Kmet talking about Roschon Johnson, and then you will hear Roschon Johnson himself. Here it is.
Yeah, he's physical, man. It's cool to see. It was fun. I like to sometimes just watch other position groups, indie or one-on-one drills, and I was watching his pass pro stuff. He'll put his helmet in there, and that's kind of cool to see. So you definitely gain some respect for those rookies that put their face mask in there and are willing to hit some guys, especially guys that are, he's going to get some DNs and linebackers who are hitting pretty hard. So that's been really cool to see.
Every time we ask somebody about you, including Cole Kmet, the first thing they say is that you're physical. Do you take pride in that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a guy who likes to, use his body as a weapon. And then, just kind of play off of that. So, yeah, definitely that's a toolbox or a tool in my toolbox that I try to use, every day.
Okay, it's hard to be as physical as you want to be probably in training camp. How frustrating or how difficult is it to show what you can do without being kind of playing to your strength?
Yeah, I mean, it gets difficult at times, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, you kind of have to deal with it. And then when we strap those pads up on game day, that's when I can let it all out. So.
Yeah, Roschon Johnson right there. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I worry about him a little bit because, I mean, I love physicality from a running back. We saw that from David Montgomery. But obviously, you want the guy to stay healthy. And so a guy who looks for contact, lives off of contact, as he was saying during my question. I do worry a little bit, but obviously that's not something that you want to ever take away from Roschon Johnson. So it'll be interesting to continue to follow his development. They're giving him chances. Couple other things before we wrap up this edition of the podcast. Nate Davis, the Bears right guard, was in full pads. He went through team warmups. I did see him in 11 on 11 at one point, and then I do think that he went back to the sideline and did not see much of him after that. But I will mark this down as progress. Good stuff from Nate Davis. DeMarcus Walker, number 95, Bears defensive end. He was back out there as well. Alan Williams told us not to quote him, but believes that DeMarcus Walker is still in ramp-up mode. So he was working with, the first team for some of the time and probably taking it easy the rest of the time. So those are encouraging things. Still didn't see Tremaine Edmonds out there. I told you Chase Claypool was not out there. We're not seeing Yannick Ngakoue yet either. So just a few notes there. Michael Baskerville had another interception in this game. And then I will say this at the very end. Velus Jones Jr. looked good today. Looked good in one-on-one drills. He looked good in 11 on 11, made a couple of big plays as a receiver. So he looked comfortable. I still don't want to see him as the punt returner, but if he keeps doing that, I got a lot of time for Velus Jones Jr. to be a receiver and a weapon and all of that on the team. And Dante Pettis is back. And today was the first time I saw him taking punts. I might have missed him taking punts in the first day when they had that indoor practice at the Walter Payton Center on that rainy day. He might have been that day, but this is the first day that I noticed Dante Pettis back out there taking punts. So presumably he's got that job, but we shall see. We will find out soon. And one more night out here in Indianapolis, and I will be reporting from here. So thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. And for our executive producer, Ray Diaz, I'm Mark Grote. Have a great night.